Samuel Wate. Welcome once again to Diguna Youth Ministry this evening, and well, as usual, I am not alone.
Tumeanza.
I'm here with, you can introduce yourself as we continue. I hope I'm not bullying you.
Oh my goodness, we have just been bullied here. They didn't even alert me. Hi everyone, welcome once again to Monday Let's Talk with Sam and Purity. And yeah, I think they unintentionally decided to bully me without realizing.
Do you,
So, I mean,
do you
this
feel
cyberbullying?
bullied? Do you
I
feel bullied?
bullied.
How?
This is embarrassing. Like you want me to answer in front of people.
Did I force you? Uh-huh.
Anyway, welcome once again to Monday Let's Talk with Sam and Purity. I was literally looking at a meme someone had posted, and I'm just thinking, is that really bullying Unye or bullying our leaders?
What meme?
Because it's a meme of a kid who has a sad face, and then he's receiving a gift, and they're out there, they're like, this is a Kenyan receiving the curfew. And yeah, so anyway, welcome. I am excited to have a conversation on cyberbullying.
Mm-hmm.
I am still born again, and I love the Lord as my personal savior. So, Sammy, yes, how about you?
I'm okay. I've just been thinking about this cyberbullying thing. Or let me just start by bullying itself, because that reminds me of way back in high school, where I in fact, before we even go to high school, when I was in primary school, while I was finishing my Kenya Certificate Primary of Education, that is KCPE, while I was finishing my KCPE, I was almost scared to go to high school because of the different stories that I had about bullying. Because, I mean, friends of mine who are ahead of me in school, they would tell me, it's tough out there, especially boarding schools. You are forced to, when you are Form 1, you're forced to wash, let me say, clothes for a Form 4 for no good reason. Like, it's not your job, it's not something that you're supposed to do, but you're forced because, I mean, they're bigger, they're masculine, they are Form 4s.
Yeah.
So you must do what they want, you must do what they say. And for me, at some point, I would say I was scared to even join a boarding school because of the stories that I had about bullying. Yeah.
Imagine, Sammy, today, you don't even have to go to a boarding school. I think it's even scary having a WhatsApp account or a Facebook account or an Instagram. But I think the heaviest is TikTok. Okay, I don't know what happens there, but I think, you know, the way we have so many videos coming out and so many memes, and sometimes you just look at things and you're left thinking, hiya, okay, these guys are for real, you know. And when I'm thinking about it, I've tried to think of a scenario where I was bullied. I'd only remember when in primary school, maybe all the girls would do something to me because they had issues with my brothers, because my brothers are the famous ones in school.
Okay.
I was a bit subtle. But I think I have, not falsely, but I think in so many instances I have probably humiliated someone or bullied someone in a subtle way, in a humble way. And I'm just thinking, like today, one of our colleagues came to the office. I was walking in with a cup of tea, and so he comes in and he's like, "Hey, and it just came with yours." I was like, "What? Like, what did they come with mine?" You know, I'm holding a cup of tea, and he's there and he's like, "I don't know, see, it's tea or coffee." I'm like, "No, it's dawa and it's for older people. See, you're smaller. When you grow up, you'll have."
Wow.
And then afterwards, I'm thinking, like, we laughed it out, but imagine that's how we've embraced it. In real sense, it was a joke, but it was not a polite one. And the good thing is we understand each other. But
there's nothing like understanding each other. If you bullied the guy.
I'm just thinking, I have so many instances of such. And then the fact that probably the first impression most people will have about me, if I have not spoken to them or they're not used to me, they'll probably think I have an attitude. And I think there are instances that I have switched it on. You know, those ones of, so who are you? Like I can easily intimidate someone. So I think I've done that to people. And these, mainly it's because I'd state bullying as devaluing someone. At some point it entails hatred. At some point it entails just making someone feel less of a person, and not just mocking them. Yeah, not just making them or mocking them to feel like less of a person, but to actually prove it by action
Sure.
or words or something of a sort.
In regards to what you're saying, maybe I'm thinking, does it mean that it is actually possible for me to bully someone without even noticing that I'm bullying them?
I think so, Sammy.
Like I can probably maybe devalue you or demean you, or maybe the example that I used while in high school, when Form 4s would tell you to like wash their clothes. Now they're like forcing me to do something that I'm not supposed to do, of which in this case they're devaluing me, they're demeaning me. Of course, they're affecting my self-esteem and stuff. So is it possible for me to do something that looks like it's okay, but in the end I'm actually bullying you?
Yeah, it is. So because I'm thinking it's not just physical, as you stated, because it can be physical, it can be very emotional, and sometimes even just silence. Like I believe you can literally bully someone, not necessarily physically, but there's so many ways you can do it just to, and as long as what you're doing with the knowledge of it's gonna hurt or it's gonna make someone feel bad, I believe that's just it. Yeah.
Wow. So that brings another aspect as well. So with bullying, the intention is usually to hurt people, to hurt others.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, you know, in movies, normally we have heroes and we have villains. And of course, the heroes are the good people.
The villains are the bullies.
The bullies are the bad people. And I believe for most of us out there, that's how, sadly, that's how we look at life. For example, like there are people who do good to you and there are people who do bad to you. Now, the people who do good to you are the heroes in your movie or in your life. And the people who do bad to you are the villains. And meaning if they do bad to me, then they bully me. So, in other words, what you're trying to say, or rather what I'm trying to understand here, is people who do things with intentions of hurting me are bullies.
No,
They're bullying me because they're doing things that are hurting me.
That's why even just going silent when you can be bullying, you know, the silent roles that you're having. Anyway, that just makes me think, mixes to the whole conversation of cyberbullying. Because we are at a stage where it's no longer about us meeting or having to meet for us to bully each other. But it's very vital and it's very evident that it's so close to ours. It's so close, yet so wide and broad. You know, like for physical bullying, it entailed very few people knowing. Like the way we see in movies, Mean Girls or Brutal Boys, the way they, you know, like they'd probably spread rumors about you in school, and the only place it will be, it's in that school, or if it's at home, it's only a clique of people that will know. But now think about it, Sammy. If something comes up today about Sammy, so Sammy posts something, and then I pick it up and add a bit of it and share it out, and someone else, like it rotates, and before long, it's not just no longer on my WhatsApp status or Facebook alone. It goes to Twitter, it goes to Instagram, and after some time, we have all these list of things, all these list of videos and comments and hard things and harsh words that comes along. And thinking about it, it's one of the scary spaces that we are at.
Sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking about technology as a whole, technology in general, at this time and age, technology has grown like rapidly. In so many different ways, because I'm able to connect with people that are not even here, For example, people in America, people in Philippines, I mean, people in all different continents. And for me, that has made now the technology, I would term it as like the double-edged sword, in the sense that, you see, technology now has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is the fact that, I mean, I'm able to connect, I'm able to interact widely at a wider range, and not limited by my local area or anything. But then again, it has also given us this platform where we could freely, like, say bad things to one another, do crazy stuff over the internet to one another. Like the example that you just gave. I mean, I post a picture of you and say bad things, because cyberbullying, I think there's so many different forms of cyberbullying. For example, one could be, I could play imposter, you know, I could play you, you know, on Facebook. I create an account, I call it Purity Mwende. I have your pictures, all of them. Each and every single day you take a photo, I have it. Then I post it with the different captions that I have. And I mean, I can decide to say weird things, even explicit things that I'm not even supposed to say. And with that, now it has brought the fact that this technology has given us, I mean, a different view of it. It has introduced us to now different challenges that we didn't have in the past. You see, because, I mean, I believe when Abraham was around, there was nothing like the internet. There was nothing like Twitter. There was nothing like WhatsApp. But now that Wate and when Sam and Purity are here, there's Facebook, which for us, we are trying as much as possible, I mean, to use it in the best way, like what you're doing now. Sharing the gospel, sharing good news. But then again, we are also exposed, because right now, anyone could decide to comment anything.
True.
Anyone could decide to say anything to us. Yeah, and at some point, it's, I don't know whether, I think I should call it, it's sad, because technology should grow and make us better, in the sense that, yeah, we connect more, we grow more. If we would spend much time or more time, like maybe, for example, sharing the word of God, rather than me demeaning you, rather than me devaluing you, rather than me lowering your self-esteem. I mean, it's quite sad.
And you know, the other part of it, when I'm thinking about cybersecurity, it's not only gone broad and wide in terms of how many people it reaches, but it's gone broad and wide in terms of even the age group. Like it cuts through different ages of people. We not only have the teenagers, you know, like the way it used to be a thing of high school and primary. But imagine, Sammy, it cuts through the elderly, cuts through the young adults, it cuts through the president, the politicians, like everyone out there is subjected to cyberbullying in one way or the other. And the sad part is we often do it sometimes without even realizing we're doing. Think about it in online. How many times do we get silly quotes of things and we keep on sharing to people? How many times do we see a meme about someone? One of the guys I like, I think it's Simple Boy. And, you know, he's chucked a song, Sammy.
And he's so simple.
And he's so simple. And in his simplicity, he's simply sharing a song that states, Tuachemia Darati. But this guy gets bullied. Instead of even people seeing his message or what he's singing about, they go ahead and start stating things that were not even in relation. And you wonder, where are we heading to? Think about our politicians. Think about for even him to get the name Jaden, Ama Mashati. And like he's just okay. You can imagine, Sammy, the number of vitenges and curtains and chairs and everything that came out in line with Uhuru's shirt. And we are all tagging it along as just memes and simple things. But Sammy, just think about how it affects that person. Probably we'd think of him as a thick-skinned guy because that's how it is. But on a general, genuine experience, if it were you, a president in a whole country, and all that is happening, it's something of a sort. And in the evening, all you're stating is, it's okay, it will just be fine. But definitely you'd have thoughts of, am I that much of a joker? Am I not serious? Am I not a president enough? And it is sad to me because Kenya is famous, very, very famous.
KOT, I tell you.
Yeah, Kenyans on Twitter because of, carts. And when you're thinking of it, I mean, it's heavy, it's sad, and it's crazy.
Actually, you see, that reminds me, one person, one guy, a friend, or rather a mentor once told me that most of the times you see, you can do all good things. For example, you can try to do your best in everything, but this one simple mistake that you do, people will, rely on it. They will look at it and they will define you by based on that simple mistake. Because that reminds me, a few years back, one gospel artist here in Kenya, he did a very weird song. Well, he was referring to God as a sponsor, and the way he was, the way he was cyberbullied because of referring to God as a sponsor and everything. Well, it's kind of controversial, yes. But then again, you see, my problem is how Kenyans reacted to it. In the sense that, they're telling him, this guy, he's nonsense. He does not know how to write songs. He does not respect God. How do you refer God to as a sponsor? All that. And for him, it hurt him big time. Big time. Emotionally, especially. Because he's saying, all those years, I've been doing well, especially in the gospel industry. He's been releasing songs, and people have been appreciating. But this one time, people want to kill me, People want to, bury me and crucify me and all that stuff. So it does affect emotionally. You see, cases of depression, they also come from...
they're rising. It's part of that.
Because of cyberbullying. Because sometimes it makes you feel lonely. You see, it's the whole world against you at some extent. Because imagine on Twitter, it's not when I bully you. It's not when I bully you here.
In school or at work.
Yeah, let me assume now we're here in Diguna. In this compound, maybe you're around 40 people. Maybe when I bully you here, only 40 people would know. You might at some point be able to deal with that because it's only 40 people. But now imagine now on Twitter where everyone sees it. Someone who's in Jamaica, he knows nothing about purity, but he reads it.
And then the audacity that people have. You will be walking in town and someone remembers your face.
Exactly. Unje ule mwende yule niliona.
Kwanza kuna wenye hata ikwangi ni huyu ndo yule mwende. It's dozens of excuse, are you the purity we've been seeing you online? Aki, you've been trending. Oh my gosh. And we chillers in Nairobi don't have chills sometimes. Alafu uongeze makanga warongai. like and then all these people. But Sammy, do you know, it also comes down to the question of how far do we go when it comes to freedom of speech? Because if you ask a Kenyan or if you ask someone, they'll tell you we have freedom of speech in Kenya. It's there for us to embrace it. So we're just expressing ourselves. But tell me, how far will it go? And I really I kind of like some of the implementations in our country at some point. Because when the rise of cyberbullying came in Kenya, when it started just going a bit high, they implemented laws that stated, or rather acts that stated, anyone who publishes any rumor or any statement that will be defiling or hurting someone or torturing or wrongfully stated will be actually sentenced, subjected to the law. And the sad truth is, I don't know how much of that is implemented because we've never seen it being done.
Sure.
During political times when we're having elections around the corner, it's when you'll definitely hear the guys are literally checking on how many on who's writing what for what, or who for who, or who's against which politician. And sometimes it's a bit scary on what comments you're giving. But after that time, the rest of the time, you're just easy. But I believe that shouldn't be the way.
Sure. And actually, I like a comment here from Alex Balu. He says, hardest reality is that it mostly generates from jokes, and we never know when we have crossed the line. You know, like the question that you're asking here, the fact that we have freedom of speech. Because for me, I'm free to say anything. I mean, I live in Kenya, so I can say like whatever I want. But okay, of course, there are a few things that I'm not supposed to say. But this aspect of jokes, so you see jokes like you're fat, blah blah blah. That is
mwanaume kwanza hizi za mwanaume ni kitambi.
Mwanaume ni kitambi, mwanaume. I mean,
like there's so many jokes that are just out there on their side. Pesa kidogo too. And imagine Sammy, you're posting that, and there's your friend who's been waiting for a job the past 7 years, and he finally gets one. And then you're there posting pesa kidogo tu, unava socks na Crocs. What like sometimes na kuna ya ushaanza kunywa chai na maziwa mingi ama like things that are so nonsensical.
there's actually a pan I saw. It was tough. I mean, for what a radio presenter actually. On Twitter, he posted a picture of herself. Then one of the comments was like, "Ooh, this picture is too weighty."
Imagine.
And you see, for her, it really affected her big time, because I mean, she was like, later she was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't realize the world knew my secret, that I'm fat." I mean, she said it painfully, but I believe, I mean, it hit her big time, and it affected her so much. So the small jokes, small memes that we make, we don't even realize that this is actually cyberbullying.
And we don't realize that we're actually part of it. Because truth is, anytime you see that post and you don't do anything, you are actually acting towards it. Anytime you see that post and all you do is laugh and share, copy paste on your status, you are part of the bullying part.
True.
And anytime you're seeing that post and it affects you and you still do nothing, but you just cover up yourself in your shell, you're actually also not doing anything. Because at the end of the day, if I see Sammy has posted something that I know this one is hurting someone, I definitely should be in a position to state it. Sammy, I think you need to pull that post down.
Sure.
Try it. But what happens, Sammy? We even go to extents of even justifying it. That whatever I post does not state what I stand for.
Exactly.
But the Bible tells us that out of the abundance of the heart, the tongue speaks. That the heart is deceitful, it's full of evil. So that means anything that I'm doing, it's actually been generated from my mind and my heart, and I'm just like, yeah, well, have a look at it. So it's so sad that it's basically out there.
We actually support it, we encourage it, how can I mean, we spend time with it, because I can tell you the comment that I saw on Twitter, it's not that I am following the radio presenter, but it was actually a meme. So then I had to like follow up,
just to check what's up on
what's up on this one, because I mean it was forwarded to me as well, you see, and that I failed there as well, because for me I saw it and I'm like, oh my goodness,
this such a cyberbullying.
You know, in my head I'm thinking like, whoa, what a pun, this pun is, oh my goodness, actually this picture is weighty. I'm like, this guy is deep, you know. Not noticing that I personally am actually supporting it. I'm actually agreeing to it, which is wrong.
True. So I believe this takes us to the point of what role do we have in cyberbullying? Because it's not like Kitambo, I'm in the category of the rude mean girls in school who go out necessarily to hunt on these one simple, polite girl. But it's more of, I actually do it without even realizing I'm doing it. So what's our role? Are we going just to sit back and continue sharing it out, continue sharing posts, continue laughing out posts, or are we going to stop it out? Like, if sadly enough it gets to you, like, that's the end of that part, that's the end of the conversation, like it's not going further, and you'd probably then tell the person to say, this one, I'm not into it and I'm not going to support this, or like, what role are you going to take? Because now we've figured out, and we are all in an agreement of, like, rather, we are both of us in an agreement of, we are subjected to it in one way or the other. We write comments, we share posts, we laugh on posts, and we keep silent.
I'm thinking, before we even get to, like, what's our role, I'm asking myself, because previously when we had started, we had agreed that bullying consists of you doing something to hurt me, intentionally to hurt me. Now, my biggest worry or my biggest question in my head is, why would you want to do something to hurt me? Like, you as Purity, you just wake up and you're like, I want to hurt Wate.
Because I don't like Wate, because Wate deserves to be hurt, because Wate has been bullying others, and now it's his time to reap what he planted. Because I was bullied as a young child, and I have grown and figured out, hey, I am stronger and Wate is weaker, so why can't I bully him back? Like it's more of retaliating to what I experienced before. Exactly. And I believe sometimes, or rather most times, the basis is just no love.
Exactly. You see, the example I give with the movies, when you have heroes and villains, now that's how we see life, sadly, that the people who do good to us, they're heroes to our life. And the people who do bad things to us, they're villains. I mean, they're the ones who are bullying us. So they hate us or something like that. But actually, you see, the biggest problem is, for us, we are broken as well. We are broken, that's where we are hurt. That's where we hurt others. Because for me, I'm looking at it in a deeper way, in the sense that, I mean, there's more to us even before I even bully someone on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Facebook. There's more. I am hurt as well. And for me, the biggest problem is I've not dealt with my pain. I've not dealt with my struggle. So I choose to deal with it on Twitter. When I see you post your photo, and oh my goodness, you are so weighty on the photo. So I decide to, like, release my pain over there. I decide to, like, release my struggle over there. And you see, that's the sad part. Because for me, I feel like now cyberbullying is, at some point, it's one of the, you see, when you have an epidemic, for example, when we have, like, corona, then there are other small extended ones, like loss of jobs, loss of that. But in this sense, the biggest question, the biggest worry here has been the fact that I have not dealt with my pain. So I opt to, or rather I seek a way through cyberbullying, telling other people how bad they look, telling other people how ugly they are, telling other people how weighty they are, telling other people how they can't even think about themselves. So one of the biggest reasons I believe why people do cyberbullying is because they want to release the pain that they have. It's because they want to release the struggles that they have. And the only solution for that is us, as human beings, as friends, finding a platform, a different platform, where we can release our struggles, where we can release our pain. And that takes me back to the conversation we had a few weeks ago about depression, about us being friends to one another, sharing what is ailing us, what is disturbing us. Because I believe if we become friends, I don't expect a friend to tell me how ugly I am.
Hata kama ni ukweli.
One thing I believe is there's no one who is ugly.
Not yourself.
There's no one who is ugly or anything.
Like if you have ugly actions and behaviors,
Oh,
not like what we think of.
that comment is too weighty, but it's okay. I hope I'm not bullying anyone.
And some, the way you're putting it out. I'm just thinking of last year, a while back, when COVID had started, and after some time, we have Robert Burane, who was diagnosed as positive. Like it's. Sometimes I think about it of how it's funny and it's crazy when today, if you go for a test and you're coming out and you're negative, it's the most exciting thing. So he comes out with a video in a hospital bed, and listening to his conversation, he was stating of how truth is in the beginning, his perception and opinion towards COVID was more of this is just world order coming up. It's nothing serious. It will just be out. It's a means and measure that the leaders and politics. It's business and all the myths that have come with COVID. And then here he is in a hospital bed,
coughing.
Na coffee tea. And he's there thinking of where he is at. But at that particular moment, it's when he's sent a video and telling people that COVID is real and all that. But the response that he got, actually the interesting thing he stated was that the people that he thought were his friends were actually among the people who were there posting things. Because Sammy, if I'm a friend, I'll be comfortable enough to tell you my opinion. It does not mean my opinion is right, as much as you won't agree to it. But on the other hand, it places me, instead of you taking it as this is Purity's opinion, you actually take it to self and wait on the point that you'll be able to prove it wrong, that see. So that makes me question even the friendships that we have. Because sometimes I feel our own friends are the ones who bully us. Do you know how many times Sammy people post status just for you?
A few months ago, someone spent time. Someone sat down. Sorry, someone sat down, spent time, picked a few pictures of a friend. Then he made the friend look weighty. And and not knowing, you see, actually you said that, then I think I'm like, that could actually be true. Our own friends. And for me personally, of course, I take it as a joke. We are laughing, we're okay. But later again, maybe someone, when they're seated alone, when they're there, they're like looking at the pictures, they're like, so this is actually me. I'm actually fat or something.
Yeah, you can imagine the damage you're causing to that guy.
And you don't know. You see, for you, you're doing it for, purposes of laughing, enjoying, and having a good time.
Yeah.
But
in real sense, he sits down and thinks, haya, kumbe nakuanga na 1-pack. Or rather, 6-pack yangu iko protected. And we do not realize how hurting we are doing to each other. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you're probably, you're actually giving an answer to a question I heard earlier on asked. And I forgot what the question was.
The question is, you see, I brought the aspect of why, but you had asked the question of how, when I'm bullied, what should I do? Or rather, the people that we see bullying happening, what should we do? And I think one of the biggest reasons is, you see, one of the way to stop it is to, say it, call it out, that it's wrong. That's number one. Put the awareness out there that it's wrong. Like you telling, I don't want to say the word again, but you hurting others by your comments. You might do it knowingly or unknowingly, but then again, point it out that it's strong. Stand firm and correct. You see, when I see you post something on WhatsApp and I feel like it's wrong, I mean, I should have that confidence and courage to come to you and ask you to pull it down because it's wrong.
Utakuwa mtiaji.
Sawa, wacha nikwe mtiaji, but I mean, I'm saving a soul out there. I'm saving a life out there. Because this, I mean, it does affect, especially emotionally. I don't know, but according to how the little knowledge I know, or the little knowledge that I have, you see, for example, especially ladies, I know it happens with men, but especially ladies. The moment I would tell you, like, I would say to a lady, like, I don't like the size of your nose. Just like that. As simple as that.
Yes, Sammy.
I don't like the size of your nose. She might react there like, oh, Kwani, what's wrong with my nose? Oh, it's too big. But later, when she goes home, she looks at the mirror, then she's like, wow, so this is actually the size of my nose.
Probably for the longest time of their years, they've never thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the very first time they realize, oh yeah,
Mm.
I have a big nose.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And it does affect them in their head. Self-esteem, I mean, emotionally, it depresses them.
You've even gone far, Sammy. Think about the before and after photos.
Wow. By the way, before and after.
You know, where I'm probably putting it with no bad intentions. Like, hey, people, today I did makeup. So this is me before and this is me after. Very clean, genuine intentions. Just to state that when I do a bit of makeup, I look pretty. You know, and I have discovered something new called makeup. But, hey, it goes out there. My closest of friends will be the first one to look and laugh. And the first comment will be, transformation now, you know. and then it pulls up. She posts, and then Sammy posts. And then, so I definitely concur that the first step should just be, it starts by you, because I'm imagining of how beautiful it will be, Sammy, if I receive a meme and I don't tell you about it. If I hear rumors and I like it ends at
you
me.
break the chain at you.
It literally, that's the end of it. We will be helping out when it comes to cyberbullying. Don't be part of it. But it's one of the hardest things. But why? I'm pretty sure someone is asking. So are we heading to these whole conversations of cyberbullying? Kwani Sammy has been bullied in the cyber. So people, him is just fine. It's only that it's a concern. Like any other ethical issues in the world. Sure. And I believe as much as it's a concern to the point of the government raising applause and putting on acts in the, you know, bills, acts, laws, rules, my friends, lawyers, you know those terms, which you call, but those laws that regulate the whole statements of how people put and post, bloggers write and all that. That means it's a very, very serious and sensitive thing to be handled. Sure. And truth is, we can't pinpoint in the Bible that this is a verse that states, do not bully, no. But the Bible calls us to so many different things that are aligned in bullying. The way we stated, there's a lot of hate in the regards of it. There's a whole of human disvaluing that is in it. There's a whole lot of baggage that you're trying to hide or sort out and all that. Like we want just to have a look at what the Bible tells us about it. Yeah. I think you'd like to read the comment by Kidum Adbat.
Sure. It says, this is a sensitive topic, but the point is guys don't know themselves. If you know yourself, nothing will come across you. But if you move on with that, people say utaanguka. Yes, so we get to understand who we are. I mean, this is an aspect of identity in the sense that no matter what you tell me, I know I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I know I am a child of God. I mean, you say my nose is big, but I'm a child of God. I'm created in the image and likeness of God.
I honestly concur with a part of knowing who you are as a child of God. However, truth of the matter, Sammy, truth is that we are humans created with emotions.
Very
But at the end of the day, you'll just find yourself in that space of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But truth is, kujijua ni muhimu.
Very important.
But at the same time, it's important that you won't be that person who's extending the whole cyberbullying conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading through a story about one of the greatest theologians,
Mm-hmm.
Charles Spurgeon, and at some point he was huge.
Mm.
And imagine, you know, the way we have 1,001 quotes of C.S.
Mm-hmm.
C.S. Lewis.
Mm.
That guy was deep. That guy was straight. That guy knew God.
Mm-hmm.
However, at one point, he grew so big, and people started making jokes out of him, to a point that when he got back to the bed in the evening, he didn't want much stories even with the wife,
Mm-hmm.
because he felt that this is too much. Like the guys hated on him. So you can imagine if that guy
Mhm.
felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God that he had a wife who was a helper and who was beautiful and nice. She wrote something on the ceiling that every single time he'd wake up in the morning, that will be the first thing that he got.
Mm.
And I can't remember the exact words, but it was more of that there's much more to you than just the body. It was an encouragement for him that he was able to live another day.
Mm.
So truth is, all these things can happen to us.
Mm.
However, when we look in the Bible, I like the personality of Jesus, which I think will make me also just concur a bit with Kidum Albert,
Mm-hmm.
where he met bullies. He met bullies and bullies.
Mm.
Or how would we call a person who's bullied? Because you have employer, employee, bully, you know.
Bully.
And for him, for instances, the instances where he was subjected to bullies, he was subjected to guys who were just there in the crowds to listen to him, stating things or like there were just guys who were waiting for Jesus to state something, and then they tell him, according to the law, you know, this is the Sabbath day. How can you heal? How can you, like, there was that crowd, but for him, he knew who he was, and he was able to, you know, to stand firm and move on, and even just get back at them, like, you know, the Bible says, or he gave them answers in a savage way.
Mm-hmm.
But in today's world, Sammy, how can you be savage? People, you'll be cyberbullying them back.
For me, how can I be savage? I would say love is greater than hate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, way, way greater.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking, you know, you see in the book of Matthew when God tells us to love our enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it this today, and I'm like, maybe some of us would want to think of, maybe God is asking us to be fake.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, how can you love your enemy? That would be fake in the sense that you're thinking like,
It's like
Sasa,
kumsave.
I can't love my
Like
enemy.
literally is I don't love you.
He's my enemy, that's why I don't love him.
Yeah.
You
Or
see?
I don't love you because you're my enemy.
Exactly, that's the point. So we sit down, we think like, maybe you want God, this God wants us to be fake. But, hey, God, I mean, loving my enemies,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about the actions that I do towards the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that. God mostly, I mean, wants to change our attitude towards the enemies.
Towards the enemy.
God wants to change the heart. You know, he's dealing with the heart because, like you said, the mouth speaketh what is abundance from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if my heart, if my attitude is changed towards this enemy, eventually my actions will change. So when God tells us to love our enemies, he's telling us that we change this attitude. Because now, yes, you will bully me.
Mm-hmm.
You're my enemy, right? You will hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
You will tell me how ugly I am. But how do I respond to that?
Mm-hmm. By loving on you back.
Exactly.
Just to get on that, it reminds me of a conversation I had like 2 weeks ago. And I had a chance to sit down with an elderly guy who's been in the mission field for a really long time. And one of the questions I asked was, what's love for him? What has been one of his greatest lessons in life? And part of what he answered was that the understanding of what we as human think of as love, it's more of delighting, but in real sense, love is what God asks us to do is to love in a sense that we still find value in people despite what they do around us. So I won't delight around you. I won't be like, hey, I'm excited to hang around you, or oh, I wanna wherever it. But when you're thinking about it, that even for God, He placed a value to all humanity, and the value was so costly that He gave His only Son. And even when you look in Corinthians, the way He states, love is kind, that love is patient, love does not envy. When you look at it, Sammy, it puts you to a position where when God tells me to love my enemies, He actually tells me not to dehumanize them. He does not tell me that now, yeah, that's your enemy, and I know he's going to hurt you every single day, but what I want you to do is keep on, going to him and all that. So yeah, very true.
And actually, that reminds me of a story from the Bible. This young guy, this good-looking guy called Joseph. He's there. He's the favorite son of his father, and of course, the brothers, they envy the fact that the father loves him the most, and he's given. In fact, the Bible says the brothers envied him to the extent that they were plotting to kill him. But luckily, he travels to he's taken away. He's sold rather to a different country. And I love how he repaid his brothers, because his brothers were literally bullying him.
So you call the brothers of Joseph bullies?
Yeah, they were bullies.
Yeah,
The different part was that there was no cyber there. There was
they would have followed him on Twitter and
exactly.
You guy of courts, colored court.
Actually, that reminds me. You see, that colored coat that you just mentioned, he was given by his father, and that is the special thing that we are also given by our father, because that colored coat brought all the problems. Because most of the times, envy comes when there is something good about me, because today I saw a quote. It was saying, okay, I hope this is not bullying, but it was saying the people that ignore you, they ignore you because you're expensive.
They can't handle you.
They can't afford you. So everyone that ignores you, they can't afford you.
So the brothers couldn't afford.
Probably. There was something special with Joseph. That's why they envied him. They bullied him. But I love how Joseph gives them a reply. He shows that love is actually greater than hate. Because when they're in trouble, when they need food, he takes them. He forgives them. He provides for them food. And I believe that's one of the ways how we should react to bullying as well. However tough it is, I know it's really tough, because I'm trying to picture. I'm trying to think about it now. If all my 3,000 friends on Facebook decide to crucify me, now
you will die.
I don't know if I will show love upon them, but I hope and pray, for mercies and grace that I am able to, because actually love is greater than hate. Yeah,
I'm just thinking, if Joseph was in today's world, tungekuwa na Yusufu Marangi, si Peter Marangi. But yeah, it's very true. And I'm just thinking of another instance in the Bible, Sammy, of Esther, Queen Esther's story. And there's this guy who was called Haman. Like, do you know how Haman was a bully? Like, he literally was just bullying Mordecai, Esther's uncle, over and over again. To even a point where he manipulates the king to signing that the Jews should be killed, so that just Mordecai will die, and all the people. Like, there was too much hate in him. And it's interesting how God turned the whole situation. And it just does not end there. Like, we can have a whole list of bullies in the Bible. We can think of Daniel and the leaders in the past in the palace, where they used to go and tell the king that, hey, that guy is not true. Like, that guy has issues. Well, him, the only thing he did was just he prayed to God. But for them, they were like, this guy does not pray to our God. Kwani does he think he is? And the king didn't really find it as an issue, but just because of the people around there who are bullies. And basically, that's what we do today. It's only that for us, it's online. For us, we find reason. We find things to post online that will actually make us realize of how, kumbe, that's how ugly it is. That's how bad it is. That's how unrealistic that human is. Think about it. Like there's so many situations. The whole political arena right now. Baba having COVID. And everything that tags along. Like, there's so many sad things that we tend to overlook and we embrace. But coming back to Daniel's story, the only thing that made him stand, it's that he knew who he was and whose he was for. So for him, it didn't shake him. He just continued to pray. And I believe that when we have that foundation of who we are, that no matter what comes our way, we shall be able to stand. But we need to be the pioneers, and we need to be the leading, the leading people to help stop the whole cybersecurity part. Because the Bible calls us to defending the weak, defending the widows, helping out on them. But what we do is in contrary. Because what we do is we uplift it. But when I'm thinking on the Bible, when God tells us in Psalms, chapter, just a minute, let me confirm so that I don't misquote.
And you get bullied later.
Yes. Psalms chapter 82, verse 3 and 4. I'd like to read it just a bit. That we are called to defend, to seek after justice, to embrace the less in the family, in not just in the family, but the less in the society, that we're supposed to uplift them, we're supposed to embrace them. Let me just get to it and read it for us. That's an awkward silence. Sammy, speak.
You said Psalms chapter.
No. Anyway, Psalms chapter 82, verse 3 and 4. It says, defend the poor and fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy, deliver the poor and needy, free them from the hand of the wicked. Like, literally, free them from the hand of the wicked. And here we are. What we do is we actually subject them to the hands of the wicked. We actually deliver them to more subjection or more hurting. And we are literally called to defend. So even Sammy, when we are here telling people that let it be the last point when it comes to you, I'm seeing that apart. I'm going not to go further with it, and I'm going to tell someone, hey, stop it. And it does not really matter if they'll turn it to me, because at the end of the day, you have played your role. I'm thinking about the great rule, the golden rule in the Bible that states, do to others what you'd want done to you. Sammy, I don't know how much of, or rather, how many people would want to be bullied. How many people would want their photos to be out there with all the funny things.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I'm getting from the Word of God, that is Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. And I think this should be a challenge to all of us out there. The NIV version says, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Now, I want to now put a different thing. Let's remove the word conversation, and let's say now we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter.
Your status, your updates.
Exactly. Let your status, let your posts, let your pictures, let your, what else?
Mm-hmm.
Your uploads be always full of
Full
grace,
of grace, yeah.
seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer each and everyone who is out there. So I think this is a challenge out there, because with this guideline, I would know if I'm actually hurting you. Because if it's not seasoned with salt, if it's not gracious, then definitely at some point I'll be doing the wrong thing. So let your post, let your videos, let your uploads, let your statuses be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, seasonings. Thinking of seasoning. So here we are coming to a close of it, the whole conversation. There, we can have so many laws and rules placed for us to follow. But at the end of the day, it's up for us to make a choice. No one was born able to just overlook things. No one was born just to be like the whole strong one or a winner or something. But one thing that we've been given, and we have it like all for ourselves, is to make choices, to decide. And it's a call to all of us today that we shall not be advocates of cyberbullying and all mannerisms of bullying, but we shall be among the list of people who are frontliners. We shall be frontliners to defending others. We shall be frontliners to making it known that it is not okay and it is not right. And this will definitely go a long way. It will definitely help us curb the whole issue with mental health and depression. It will definitely help us be able to stop the devaluing humanity, but be able just to see that we are all created in the image and likeness of God. That it shall help us to be able to have the reminder that, yeah, I'll do to others what had been done to me. And it's one of the prettiest rules, thinking about it, that if somebody hits me, because I don't want to be hit, I wouldn't want to be hit, I won't hit him back. But what I'll do is I'll forgive him, because I'd want to be forgiven. If something is happening outside, I'll think through the whole thought that, what if that was me? How would I want it to be done to me? And I believe that will be saving a whole lot of issues around.
Sure. So guys, it's a challenge. Let's learn to love on one another. I mean, love, it's greater than hate. Let your posts, let your speech be gracious and seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer each and everyone out there. Yes.
And probably if you're there and you're just thinking, I don't say babuli people. I do not relate on these. I'd want to subject us to a prayer in Psalms 139, verse 23, verse 24, where the psalmist tells the Lord that, search me, O Lord, and remove all the filthiness in me. Work on all the anxieties in me, that I may walk back and be back to the rightful place of what you want me to be. And this will help us be able to even identify and realize on the many instances that we fall short. Yeah. So even as we continue with the week, may these be a reminder that we shall defend the needy and the weak in the community. We shall seek after justice and truth, and that we shall be frontliners in avoiding cyberbullying. And not just cyberbullying, even physical bullying. Yeah.
Generally just bullying. Yeah.
Na sami si tutapata pesa kidogo tu alafu nanunua jacket mpya.
When I buy a new jacket, I mean
anyway, I am not cyberbullying you. I'm just saying I like your jacket, Sammy. And it's that subtle how we do it when it comes to cyberbullying.
Yeah, exactly. Because we do it in form of jokes, unknowingly. I feel bullied.
I like how you're feeling it. Like you're happy and smiling. Hey, sorry. Anyway, guys, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May his face shine upon you. And may he go with you and lead you on through the rest of the week. See you soon. Have a blessed one. And before we forget, we are having our youth camps back. It's so exciting. We're having very limited slots. I'm pretty sure that we are almost full. However, you can check us, or rather, you can DM us on Facebook or our normal usual line. It's on Facebook as well. And book your space. We're having 3 camps. Sami, you know the dates?
Yes, Class 8 leavers from 28th March to 3rd of April. An open camp from 4th of April to 10th of April. Then lastly, it's the Form 4 leavers camp 25th of April to 1st of May.
Yes, and if you're not in a position to join with us here at Diguna, we will still have some of our sessions highlighted on our media platforms. So see you there, see you here, see you soon. Have a blessed one.
Good night.
Good night.
Love you.
Oh,
Peace out.
pesa kidogo.
Mm.
Ushajua kusema
Pesa
love you.
kidogo, mapenzi mingi.
Ushajua kusema I love you.
Sasa wewe ndio unanibuli. Fallopian